Okay, so deep breath. You settled into this moment. Welcome to Unity of Chautauqua. I'm Reverend Barbara Williams, and this beautiful day in Chautauqua. Being from Florida, being in this gorgeous weather, I'm just so appreciative that you have chosen this moment to be with us. And it feels like to me always that in a group, I'm lifted, that my consciousness, so know that we're going to be presenting things to you today, but there is a consciousness that you're bringing that's a gift to us. So we're going to begin that gift by singing together and owning the fact that this is where our heart is in this moment, that we're just holding that. So would you stand and let's sing together. My soul is welcome here.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. You did that just perfect. I can sing it. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Okay, so welcome to be seated, and let's just own that for a minute. That wherever we are, we're welcome, that we belong. That's one of the challenges I had when I first came to Chautauqua. There are all these amazing people, and I felt like, who am I to be here? I really struggled with it, and I volunteered now for a bunch of things, and I'm getting connected, but I had to affirm all the time, I belong. And so let's just feel that. You might put your hand on your heart if you want, and just breathe into this moment and know that you belong. This is where you are welcome. Oh, I just went past mine. So I want to share with you, as we pray this morning, in a couple days it's going to be what? The 4th of July, right? And have you ever had mixed feelings about that? Sometimes I have mixed feelings about what we call patriotism. And I have to remember the belief that I have, the central belief that patriotism is honoring the gift of all the people that bring us together, that we call the United States of America. And that there are all these amazing people and gifts, and I can get caught up in some of the shouting and manipulating and power, and forget that there are people of goodwill. And so you are at this amazing place, Chautauqua, of people that are out there changing the world, and changing it to lift us all, and to embrace us all, and to soften the polarity that we are experiencing in some places in our world. So this is I'm going to make our prayer the daily reading from the Daily Word for July 4th, 1943. And if you think about that, what was happening in July 4th, 1943? Yeah, I mean, people were probably really holding their breath and tightening their fists about what was happening in the world. And so the word for that day was independence. And it said, affirm continually, I give thanks for freedom and independence in our land. And I pray for the whole world that liberty, justice, righteousness, and peace may be established. So let's just take this. The invitation, if you want, is to close your outer eyes. And we take a breath in. And let's just begin with that word. I give thanks for freedom. Take that word. I like to take it into my heart space, the word freedom. And can you feel the expansiousness of that word? How that when we embrace freedom, freedom from negative thinking, freedom from catastrophizing, from making our world small. So I give thanks for freedom and independence in our land. And so we take that word independence and honor the fact that it is part of our nature and our story in our country, that independence is that free, creative idea that makes our culture so creative and innovative and interesting. And then we pray for the whole world. And so let's just imagine holding the globe in that too. That there are people of goodwill in our entire world that are working towards and praying for liberty, for justice, for righteousness, and that peace may be established. And so even in those moments where we don't see that, and there are probably many of them, we go back to this understanding that it's there, it's growing, it's softening hearts, opening minds, touching us deeply, and transforming our world. And so it is. Amen and amen. And so in unity, this is one of our core beliefs, that there's one presence and one power. And I was listening to the Buddhist teacher, Tara Brach, one of my favorite teachers that I listen to every week. And she told this story about it. She said, a little boy went to his mom and said, imagine, Mom, that you were surrounded by 19 tigers. What would you do? You know, the mom wanted to be creative with it and was trying to think and finally turned back to the boy and said, I don't know. What would you do? And he said, stop imagining. So that's our invitation. If you've got some tigers you think are surrounding you, whether it's your health or prosperity or anything, let's move to a higher idea of the good that is ready to say yes to us when we say yes to it. And so that is our affirmation. There's only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God the good, omnipotence, all power, all love. So would you just say that with me? There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good omnipotence. Breath, take that in. And allow it right now, affirm that. When you're going out in the world and somebody's like, rah, 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 or you're in line and waiting, or it's just frustrating, come back, come back. And I have to do it. And by the way, this is a lifelong process. This, I get kicked out of it and into frustration and anger and upset, and then I come back, and I come back, and I come back, and it opens miracles. And so I'm holding that for you, that each of you are coming back into that moment. And so just a couple thoughts about unity and what we're about, if that's, and I know everybody in this room, but there are people watching on video, will be watching, and they may discover us. In fact, we found that some people are discovering us are showing up and saying, I'm watching this. So we talked about opening minds, touching hearts, and transforming lives. And Unity started in the late 1800s as a prayer and publishing. It wasn't to the 1920s that they first ordained and created it just out of pressure. Because the idea of unity is to hold for all religions, all backgrounds, all spiritual journeys, that we are in common, that we're in unity. And so we say we're a positive, practical, progressive approach to Christianity based on the teachings of Jesus and the power of prayer. And so we honor those universal truths in all religions. And we honor the fact that each of us is on a journey. And we have people come to Unity and then they go to other places, and people that came from other places, and just finding our home. And a little bit about what's going on. You're at the service at the Hall of Missions here every Sunday, and we have a daily meditation in here. So if you're staying here from 8 to 8:30 every morning, it's a wonderful time of taking the daily word, then going into a silence. So I welcome you there. And then on Wednesday night, we have the Positive Path to Spiritual Living. It's a lecture series from 6:30 to 7:30, and it's at the Turner Center. Now, for those of you on campus, to get to the Turner Center, you take the north bus and drop off there at the, it's also an athletic center as well, as we have a classroom in there. If you are outside, it's really easy on the main route out here, just past the welcome gate going north. There you can park for free, and but if you're here, remember to bring your gate pass, because it's actually considered outside of that. So our minister this week, I want to introduce her. I want to say a little about her. This is her first time here.
Yay.
Yay! And I love her name, Bronte. Colbert. Isn't that interesting? Mm-hmm. And so I said, you've been at Unity of Athens for 19 years, and she corrected me, 18 years and 2/3. She is from Athens, Georgia, 18, and she's not a bulldog, she told me, because my husband asked, I said, she must be a bulldog, she's not. But she's very interesting. And how I found her and invited her here is, you'll see Unity magazines over there. Please feel free to borrow them. Bring them back if you can, because that's helpful, because the next group, we have 9 weeks to row. But I read an article by her, and I so loved it that I started trying to find her, and she said yes. So, but she does a lot of other things besides church, which is a big thing. She's the founding member and the recent chair of the Interfaith Clergy Partnership of Greater Athens. She's a poet, a fiction and nonfiction author, and a frequent contributor to Unity's printed booklets, like I said, and website content at unity.org. So you can find her. You'll recognize her if you're going there. And she has a book currently in print. And she loves mountains, beaches, kayaking, my favorite, national parks, and the joy of being alive. So, would you like to say a couple words about Wednesday evening?
Yes.
Because it's
workshop.
Yes, it's like, are you serious?
We should have fun being spiritual, right? So we're going to have fun on Wednesday.
Centered in the knowledge that we're always one with Spirit, in the workshop we'll practice joyful gratitude and playful techniques to align with that divine flow. We're going to do some writing exercises. You might find out you're a poet, or you don't have to, or you can ask God to give you, Spirit, whatever name you call the infinite, to give you guidance on something. And then in a meditative state, I got some glitter pens and some paper, and you can just write what comes through for you. I really hope to see you there because I love having fun. And it's more fun to have fun with others, right? So, yay.
So I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so right now it's our time to begin our time of meditation. So if you just take a deep breath, and we are going to sing ourselves into that. So you can join.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of God. Let's do that again. You are the face of God.
Picture someone.
I hold you in my heart.
Send love across the miles.
You are a part of me.
See yourself.
You are the face of God. You are the face of love.
See our world.
I hold you in my heart. You are my family.
See our country.
You are the face of God. Let's hum one now.
See yourself as the face of God. So beautiful. Thank you. So as we prepare for this time of meditation, get comfortable, perhaps consider putting your feet on the floor if that works for you. Feeling those positive ions and electrons coming up from Mother Earth, blessing you and healing and energizing and centering. As we breathe and take deep breaths and let them go just as we're comfortable. Cleansing breath. Healing breath. Connecting breath. Connecting with our own highest self and our sense of spirit, however we define that, however we see that, however we feel that. Breathe and let go. You let go of any worry, doubt, concern, fear, anything that is not our highest and truest. And if thoughts come in as we go deeper into meditation, we can acknowledge them, set them aside. We can just brush them aside from the get-go, or we can thank them and move once again into the deeper sense of quiet. And in that deep sense of quiet, we are even more open to nudges from spirit, wisdom, words, the liquidity of God's love flowing into us. As we breathe and let go. If we're at home, we might want to turn off the lights or light a candle. We just relax into the breath. We know our oneness, we know our surety of being in this world at this time as a gift from Spirit to us and from us to others. We breathe in joy. We breathe in love. We breathe in Spirit. And we go deeper, if that's comfortable for you. Just feeling centered in Spirit. Allowing, being, knowing. We hold these moments of quiet together. And when we're ready, we can open our eyes, do a stretch, wiggle a little bit. What did you do at church this morning? We wiggled.
We wiggled.
We wiggled. And we sang.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of God. Thank you so much,
Jesus, at the end of this, of the first talk, I'm thinking the holy, holy, holy. What do you think?
Let's do that now.
Oh, you want to do it now?
Oh, yeah. We gotta wake everybody up now, right?
Oh, okay.
So,
that, let's see, maybe Sue and Andy and Anna take this part. Holy, 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 that's your part. Holy, 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 that's it, the whole thing, okay? And it's the hardest part, because you get tired. Okay, so while you're doing that, and then we'll launch into the other parts. Okay, ready? Holy, 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 holy. And everybody else, ready? We are holy, holy, holy. 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 We are holy. Keep going. I'm gonna do something else. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy again. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, sing. We are holy, holy, we are holy, lives in me. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy. One more time. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy. Yay!
Thank you so much for that beautiful music.
You would like to have this?
And if anyone didn't get one of these, can
Would you like to look like that?
Good. And is the mic?
Would you like it?
Are we okay without the mic?
Can you all hear her okay?
Yeah. Okay. If I get quiet, sometimes my voice drops, so then just go like that, and I'll speak up. And good morning. I am so glad to be here. Good morning, everyone. Yay.
Good morning.
Hey. What are you happy about today? And you think you don't have to share, but think about something that just made you happy, that lit you up today or this week, and just think, oh wow, I can see you glowing. Okay, keep thinking about those things. Because to me, that is the secret for finding joy and love and light in life, is just remembering about what lights me up. And sure, I can deal with other stuff in the world and things going on, but focusing on what lights me up, what has happened. And there's a little technique, I'll just mention it briefly, we'll do it some more on Wednesday, that I like to use. I do a gratitude list every day when I get up, and just, sometimes it's only 3 or 4 things, and I try to add something different, so it's not always just family and this or that that's going on, but something brand new. So I do that. When I'm done with the gratitude list, I actually take my piece of paper and I draw a little, like a T line, okay? And on the right side, this is the Abraham Hicks technique, if you're familiar with them, that I altered a little bit. Thank you very much, Abraham. And this little list, and on the one side, I write things that I'm going to do today, that I would like to get done today, okay? Just might be something that I absolutely need to finish or start or do some work on. Sometimes I put some easy things in there, like have a cup of coffee, and then I can check that off when I get that part done. But on the other side of the list, and this was called the placemat technique with Esther Hicks and Jerry, when she had just so much to do and couldn't figure out how to do it, and Spirit said, you know, put some things on the Spirit side of the list. So on that side of the list, I asked for help with different things that I'd like to see. Might be unexpected income, it might be a special smile, it might be something that I can't seem to get done by myself that I would like some help with. But there's one thing I always put on that list every day, and that is surprise and delight me, God. Surprise and delight me. And the technique, I think, works because I write that down, but then I'm open to it. And as I go through my day, and of course I'm not always looking around for something to surprise and delight me, because oftentimes there's things going on that I need to deal with that aren't surprising and or delighting me or anywhere near that. But then something will show up and it just blows me away when it does. It could be a neighbor showing me her flower garden. It could be the wonderful tour I had yesterday from Reverend Barbara, showing me so much about Chautauqua. It was wonderful. It might be eating ice cream on the main green last night. I didn't know they had vegan ice cream, and it was so delightful, and it was mint, and it was wonderful. But watching the children just running around like 1950, you know, couldn't even see a lot of parents, and so these kids were running and playing, and surprised and delighted me. It works because once we start noticing those things, they continue. And I think the universe is just open to that, like, oh, he, she, they like that, I'm gonna throw something else out there. At Unity Athens, where I just retired, I'm my last few days of officially being the minister there. And that surprised and delighted me also, but I'm moving on to other things. And they send their greetings and their love. We always like to do a Bible verse and a quote from one of the Fillmores. So this is from Isaiah 55:12. For ye shall go out with joy and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills shall break forth before you into singing. The mountains and the hills shall break forth into singing. Wow, that's a surprise and delight. And all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. We're going to preface Charles a little bit, and glad you mentioned Myrtle, because this piece here is written by their granddaughter. Was it Connie? No, it wasn't Connie. It was the one before her. I'm sorry, I can't think of her name right now. But she was talking about her grandmother Myrtle. And she mentioned the fact that when they were married in 1881, they went to Colorado. And you may not have heard this story, but it was actually the middle of winter. And they were in some kind of horse-drawn carriage type of thing that took them to this very remote place where he was going to do real estate. And she birthed 2 of her 3 sons in that area. But her granddaughter was also talking about how amazing it was for a woman at that time to be working at all. And the fact that when they came back down south and they started putting Unity together, that she was right there all the time, working with Charles and building this incredible faith system. And one little thing you might not know about Charles is he had his own sense of humor, because they started the magazine, and all this mail started coming in, because, you know, they didn't have cell phones back then. So all this mail came in, and he had to address these letters and send them back to people. And in his desk, he kept all these different colors of ink, and all these different nibs that they used to have on pens when they used dipping ink. And people wondered sometimes why that was. When a letter came in addressed to Mr. Charles Fillmore, before he even thought of opening it, he would pick some special ink and a special nib, and he would put a little tiny S after the MR for Mr. and made it Mrs. Charles Fillmore, and then gave her that mail to open. And yes, that's the truth. But her granddaughter said, Myrtle was not an ordinary person. She was a spiritually liberated woman who dedicated her life to helping people explore the wonder within them. The wonder within them. We think about unity sometimes as something we need to learn or something we need to practice. But what about if that is one of the gifts we carry to help other people understand the wonder within them? To know that when we are out interacting with so many people in the world, whether it's in person or through the news, which is an interaction, or just hearing and in conversation about so many things going on, are we finding the wonder within people and situations and news? And can we help people see that wonder? Not always, because sometimes we're not connected enough. We were talking about Julia Cameron yesterday, her morning pages, in the artist's way. But one of her practices is for a writer or any kind of artist, and we are all artists, is to have somebody that we are accountable to. She calls that a believing mirror. I have a friend, Liz, that lives in Knoxville, and we went to Hollins together in the graduate program for Children's Lit. And she's my believing mirror. When I have a little something that's going on with my writing, I connect with her. Or when I'm just not writing, or I'm not creating, or life isn't going well in any kind of way, you know, I connect with her, and she sees the truth in this situation. And she'll connect with me, and we'll hold that peace and that truth together. And that's one of the things we'll do with that little blue piece of paper in a little bit. But Myrtle also, I think she helped Charles find the wonder in him. He was a businessman, he was in real estate. Look what he put forth. All these books that came from him, actually most of them were lectures that other people wrote down and compiled as books. He was so brilliant, just like her. But her healing process helped him, I think, to go even deeper. And I love this particular quote. I think I've done it like the last 6 Sundays at Unity Athens. You can do anything with the thoughts of your mind. Isn't that what we teach? No. Isn't that what we learn? To really watch our thoughts and to watch our words. You can do anything with the thoughts of your mind. They are yours and under your control. The world might not seem under our control. Our relationships might not always seem under our control. Stuff might not seem under our control, but our thoughts are, right? That was mine, not him. They are yours and under your control. You can direct them, coerce them, hush them, or crush them. Hush them or crush them. When you fully apprehend this and begin to exercise your God-given dominion, you begin to find the way to God. Spirit, the divine, whatever you want to name that. The only door to God, which is the door of mind and thought. the door of mind and thought. When we're meditating, right? We're in the mind, we're in the thought. When we're seeing God in things or in people, it's a thought. We're holding the thought. And the granddaughter's name, which I wrote down because I thought I might forget it. Oh, that was a thought, wasn't it? Rosemary Fillmore Ray, R-H-E-A. So how can we practice that in the world? How can we find that wonder in people? Linda Martello Whitsett, who's an author, unity minister, she ran Silent Unity for a long time, she's retiring, had a prayer practice that our group went to, Unity Athens. We went up to Unity of the Blue Ridge for that. And she was reminding us that when we're praying for someone, say someone is ill or going through some experience of illness and not well-being, that what we can pray for is using one of the Unity's 12 powers. And you may or may not be familiar with them. One of them is life, and I never connected that when I'm praying for or about someone that's feeling ill or having a sickness experience or hospitalization. Rather than me mentally trying to heal them, just seeing the life in them, just holding that thought of life. Doesn't necessarily mean that if someone I love is in hospice, that's going to bring them back into full, vibrant, vital life. But I can see the life in them. I can hold that energy for them. You can do that. If you're sitting with someone at their bedside, or being with someone who seems to be in their last year or years of life, holding that thought of life for them, seeing that joy and that vitality and that brilliance that is in them. If someone's going through something, worry. I have a grown daughter, and she tells me all the time, you quit worrying about me, I'm grown, okay? Going through faith then, maybe not trying to fix something in someone else's life, and even with healing, we're going to try to heal somebody, that might not be the okay thing to do because they may have chosen that path for that experience to go through. But if we're worrying about somebody, then we can hold the sense of faith knowing that everything that truly happens to us happens for our ultimate good, even if we can't see it. And in these times where we're, apparently getting way much more than we want of bad news and things and distressing things and newsy things, and you just don't even want to turn on even Lester Holt, who always ends his show with a good thing. To know, that there is wonder in this somewhere. That we are divine entities living a divine life and experiencing things that we might not even know yet. That it all does work out for good in some kind of way, even when we don't always see it. And how else can we find wonder in others is by this believing mirror type of thing where we are encouraging others to do their gifts. Familiar with Eric Butterworth? Anyone here read his work? Yeah, it's nodding. So prolific of a writer, but he was a prolific speaker, and he spoke at, I think, the Emory Hall in New York for years. He purposely had his service at a time where people that went to the normal church times could come and hear him. And they came from all denominations. And he spoke truth, and he was so powerful and so creative, but did you know he never thought he could write a book? He has some lectures and podcasts that you can watch on truthunity.net. It's truthunity, one word, .net, that is marked. He Hicks's site, Hicks. So much information there about all kinds of spirituality, pioneers in New Thought, and a lot of the Eric Butterworth things are there. And I was listening to one of the podcasts because we were having a class at Unity Athens. And I said, no, he didn't want to write a book. Eric Butterworth, who loved to talk and was quoting everybody from Abraham Lincoln to Goethe, but he didn't. But a friend of his was another minister, and I don't remember the name right now, kept telling him, Eric, you need to write a book. And Eric said, no, I can't write a book. I'm a good speaker, but I can't write a book. And his friend said, just write down your thoughts. Write down some sentences, write down a paragraph, write down things that you're doing in your talks, and just put it on paper, and then compile it at some point. Because someone else believed in him enough to convince him to try that. Look what happened. Books upon books upon books. They even wrote one posthumous. After he passed, they wrote one between Mark Hicks and the editors up at Unity. Practical Metaphysics, an amazing book. Bless you, bless you. So as you think about this day and going out into this day, and we're going to do an exercise with the blue slips of paper also, think about who can you encourage today? Who might you help see the light that you see in them? Who might you sit with and listen to from such a deep place that they hear you listening while you're not saying a word, or while you are? Who might you call and say, I was thinking of you today, and I just want to tell you A, B, C, or D, what thing you've done in your life that has helped me? Because that's where the energy is, right? Who might you send a note to and say, thank you for being in my life? Or a note of encouragement. I'm trying to remember, I have 3 grandkiddos that live in Albuquerque. One was just born over Christmas holidays. And I'm trying to remember, I talked to the 2 oldest ones, Blue and Izzy. I said, I'm gonna send postcards. I bought some postcards as I was driving up this way. Because the first time I sent them a postcard, it was from Yellowstone National Park. And their mother, my daughter, said, it was such fun when they came in the mail because they were trying to open the postcard. They thought it was like a letter. Postcards. So I'm going to tell them that the next time I talk to them, that you doing that when you were a few years younger just absolutely, surprised and delighted me. So these things work together. Consider sending a letter to a friend, sitting with someone and encouraging them that they are just doing a fraction of what they could do with their gifts. Not in a judgmental way, but saying, I see this in you. I know this wonder that is in you. Maybe it's one of the other 12 powers. Imagination, faith, strength, wisdom, will, zeal. If I don't do them in order, I can never remember. I wrote them down last night. Life, renunciation, which is letting go. We used to have to memorize every disciple. And the color, and the chakra for all those. So I'm going to skip that part. Thank you. But yeah, see the wonder in them, see the light in them, see the love in them. Emilie, Cady. Amazing, amazing woman. Holistic doctor. She was a practicing doctor back when women were not generally doctors. And then she was a homeopath on top of that. And then she had an experience where she realized that she should not be charging anybody for her services. Spirit talked to her and said, stop asking for money for what you're doing for healing people. That's not what you want to hear from God, I don't think. She said, oh my God, and she prayed on it. She said, how am I going to survive this? But she did, she stopped. And she just healed all these people because she saw the emotional issues also that were going on with their physical illnesses or their spiritual issues. And then the money stopped coming in. And she went, wow, really? She prayed again, and all of a sudden, somebody bequeathed her a whole bunch of money that took care of her from then on. But her book, Lessons in Truth, has a chapter called Affirmations. And when I was in my first ministerial school track, under Bishop Dr. Barbara King at Hillside in Atlanta, my amazing teacher had us memorize this particular prayer. I'm going to pick up my own blue slip here. So if you have your blue slip, take a look at it a minute. And for those that might be listening later, you can find this on Mark Hicks's website. Just Emilie, Cady, Lessons in Truth, and I believe it's chapter 4, Affirmations. You made me memorize that too. This particular prayer is the most powerful one I feel I've ever used. I use it all the time. I use it when I'm concerned about me, anything going on with my health or my life or whatever. I use it for dear ones, for family and friends. I use it when I'm praying for someone from the congregation at Unity Athens. I use it for our world. So you take the I, and you can say it that way. We can say it together if you want in a minute. And we can say we, but you can say you. So if someone has called you and told you they have an issue going on and they want your prayer, you can say this to them, but you can also say it to someone that you feel could use a prayer today. And you address it as you. So let's, if you're wanting to, we can read this together out loud. If you'd rather do it to yourself, that's fine. We'll start with the I. And hold it as we're saying it. Kind of hold the truth of this as we say it together. I am spirit, perfect, holy, harmonious. Nothing can hurt me or make me sick or afraid. For spirit is God, and God cannot be sick or hurt or afraid. I manifest my real self through this body now. Feel the energy of that? So now, think of someone you love, a dear one. Might be someone you don't know personally, but a person. And say you. And put that same energy into it. Just feel it going out. And don't be surprised if the universe surprises and delights you. This is a person that's still in the body that they contact you within the next few days. I'm not promising this, but it might happen that they contact you and say, I was thinking of you on Sunday. Right around 10ish Eastern time. And it felt like it was coming from New York. So, think of someone, or you can think of a few people. You are spirit, perfect, holy, harmonious. Nothing can hurt you or make you sick or afraid. For spirit is God, and God cannot be sick or hurt or afraid. You manifest your real self through this body now. And we can do we. But as we do we, or you, pick your pronoun there. You can do it for a group. You can do it for our country. You can do it for what may feel like conflict in our country, different beliefs. You can do it for a situation. You can do it for our world. Seeing peace as an entity. See it as an entity. You can do it as a birthday gift to the United States. You might want to do that on 4th if you wish. or birthday wish for our world. So we'll do, I'm gonna say you, if you wanna say we, it's fine. You are spirit, perfect, holy, harmonious.
Nothing can hurt us
or
make us sick or afraid. For Spirit is God, and God cannot be sick or hurt or afraid. We manifest our real selves through this body now.
That's beautiful. Ours took over. So consider that. Consider doing what my teacher had us do, is memorizing it. And then sharing it with others, because that's the believing mirror too. When you give this to someone else, and sometimes, we're not totally comfortable giving our personal wisdom to somebody, or they're not real comfortable receiving it, especially if we give it a lot, family. But, this way it's coming from someone else too, through you, and it's a powerful prayer. And Emilie, Cady, wherever you're skydiving or rolling around in the universe now, thank you for that also, because it is powerful. I'm so grateful again to be here. Hope to see you on Wednesday for some playtime and glittery pens and writing, maybe a poem. A poem might come out of you. They are actually very easy to write when you connect with the spirit and let it flow through you. And thank you so much for having me come, Barbara, and the board also. Thank you for that. And thank you for the music stand.
Oh, thank you. I just, I know I'm gonna have to watch this again on video when it's posted, because I wanna own it. The gift that you gave us this morning. It's just so dear to me. So thank you. Okay. And this is our time for offering.